Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays, happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amado. Tonight I'm here with
Eno Safo.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, voting ends in the Kumeu by-election, which is seen by both NPP and NDC as a test case for election 2024. Also coming up, CSOs demand the removal of GNPC boards and board chair Freddie Blay over a plan to give Petro SA some 50% of Ghana's Jubilee oil fields. And later on Eyewitness News, GBC workers bare teeth over a decision by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to slash down their salary, which the commission believes was undeserved. Stay with 97.3 City FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Bank of Ghana reiterates its readiness to provide emergency support to banks in the country.
That's in 15 minutes from the business desk of City FM and City TV. Eyewitness News is live from number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra and across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations, including Adrianpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady, in the Bono region on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, Adrianpa 99.9 FM in Nkawia in the Ashanti region, Heritage 107.3 FM in Hokwe and Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakopa, both in the Volta region. On Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba in the northern region. In the Upper East region on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In the Northeast region on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerigu. The show is also live on YouTube and live on Facebook. Just go to our respective pages and follow proceedings live from our studios here in Adabraka in Accra. We are live on citynewsroom.com, and of course, we are interactive. Do join us on our socials. On WhatsApp is 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can send tweets using the hashtag CityNewsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at City973. And the world will hear what you think of the big stories of the day. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the first one has to do with the Kumeu by-elections in the Ashanti region. Hello, take it up.
Incidents of alleged vote buying are rife at polling centers in the ongoing by-election at Kumeu in the Ashanti region. Some voters have confirmed receiving 50 Ghana cedis each, although they will not speak on record. The Member of Parliament for North Tong, Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa, who is an agent for the NDC at the Setra polling center, says rumors of voter inducement have come up at the center he's stationed at. Mr. Ablakwa says he drew the attention of the police to investigate the rumors at the particular polling center.
The only, if you like, suspicious conduct is what appears to be happening behind us, or some have said behind that classroom block. The rumor coming from there is that there is some inducement going on by our opponents, but I have not verified independently. Every now and then you hear some skirmishes, you hear people complaining, and you see senior officials going there. So quite suspicious, but I have focused on my mandate. I'm only urging the media. I've also asked the police commander to go there and find out why all the noise, what is happening there, so that we don't have, if you like, a discredited election at this particular polling station. But that said, in terms of our main responsibility, we are discharging it very well to the best of our abilities. And we haven't had any point of departure, any difference from the various polling agents that we have here. We are all on the same page. We have the same tally. We have identified the people, and we are cooperating and collaborating very, very well.
Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa is Member of Parliament for North Tong.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are on the globe on citynewsroom.com, which is our website. And if you look at it, there's an earlier story published this afternoon, which story is titled Kumeu by-election already signed pink sheets pop up at voting center. That was one of the main issues that came out of that election today. An executive of the NDC, Nuruddin Hamidan, has warned all party agents in the ongoing by-election in the Kumeu constituency not to sign pink sheets until voting ends. Mr. Hamidan gave the warning to party agents after the NDC claimed that they had detected some pink sheets being used for the elections and they have already been signed even though voting is still underway. So there's even a photo of the pink sheets that were present at the polling station, and the pink sheet, which is a very key instrument in our election process, has names at the bottom, and I see the top two names have signatures appended to them. Let's go to the grounds now and speak to the National Youth Organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Salam Mustafa. You're welcome to Eyewitness News here.
Thank you so much, Umaru. Thank you.
How is Kumeu looking?
Kumeu is calm, peaceful, and brisk.
And how was the election so far? I'm sure by now voting will be over. Which polling station are you at?
I'm currently at Oyoko Methodist JHS polling station.
And your own observation the whole day, how has it been, the voting process, arrival of materials and all of those issues?
So far, I think this is one of the most well-organized by-elections that I have participated in. The issue was on point, materials arrived early, the process has been very orderly, security has been impressive, and so far I don't have any report of any incident anywhere in the constituency. So I can say, I'm sure on authority, that this so far has been a very, very smooth by-election. And we are hoping that it remains so until the election is declared. As we speak, the polling station where I am, sorting is ongoing, after which counting would take place. It is the same polling station that, if I heard from the background, was referenced as having either a pink sheet or whatever
Okay, so
being
I haven't mentioned
signed
the
already.
polling. I haven't mentioned the polling station, but Hamidan, I don't know if you are with him at the same place. Nuruddin Hamdan of the NDC. If you are at the same place with him, was there an issue of a pink sheet at your place?
So it's not pink sheet. It's not a pink sheet. It's the declaration. The declaration, the declaration form that was unfortunately signed at a portion where it shouldn't have. And I think that the presiding officer had taken notice of the anomaly, and he said that he forgot and signed as he was filling the columns that needed to be filled, because you have to do ballot accounting. It's not a pink sheet. It is the coalition. It is the police station declaration form. So
is that not what it's called, the pink sheet?
No, the declaration is different.
Okay,
the declaration
I'm
form
looking
is
at
different.
the picture. It looks pink
Yes.
to me. So I'm sure that's why it's
no, the
not
pink sheet is just name that we
I know, but I'm sure it's derived
yes.
from the.
So
I'm sure it's derived from the
very,
color.
very well. So it's the declaration form that had a little bit of issue. In fact, when the issue happened, I was there. It happened right in my presence when the Ashanti, I think so, regional chairman came, and we were all standing at the place when the presiding officer was giving the explanation. And in fact, also mentioned that when it was brought to his attention, he quickly asked that a new form be brought to him for him to transfer the information to it, so that that particular one is not used. So I thought that it was fair, and that it didn't need the brouhaha that we were trying to create. And so far, after that incident, nothing else has happened that's untoward, and the integrity of the election has not been called in any way into disrepute. So far, I can say that there is no way that there's any problem or pink sheets or declaration forms have been signed ahead of time. I think it's just that one incident which was also rectified. So far, in brief, that's how Kumeu looks now as we speak. I've seen from my platforms results trickling in from other police stations. It means that some other police stations have already counted theirs, but here we are still sorting and waiting to count and declare, and we can move to other places. Then later in the evening, go to the coalition center and put all the figures together.
Very well. We can only wish you well. I'm sure it's too early now to say anything about the results, but we wait for them as and when they come. Thank you so much for.
But I can state without any fear of contradiction that we are going to win this election. I can state that without any fear of contradiction.
Are you very sure that you will not be contradicted by? We are told that the independent candidate is giving you guys a run for your money.
First of all, I mean, the dynamics that existed in 2020 that saw the independent clock some 11,000 votes doesn't exist in this particular circumstance, because in fact, MPP people, executives, heralded his campaign and campaigned for him and voted for him. And if you follow the story of the constituency in 2020, you would have heard that the constituency was heavily divided. And this candidate that we have now, Ernest Yao Enim, has been able to bring the constituency together. So there's no more division. So the people who campaigned for the independent are no more available for him. And I'm sure by the time the results are declared, the numbers will tell you the story. And it will paint the picture very clearly for everybody to see. They are MPP members. Look, if you take the presidential, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo pulled some 25,000 votes, but Honorable Philip Baswa pulled 14,000 votes, and 11,000 votes went to the independent. So that gives you the same margin that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had. So these are, situations we understand. But by the grace of God, I mean, where we have gotten to, we can only trust God to get us to the end very successfully.
You are the youth president of your party. How is the youth wing doing, though?
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I'm encouraged by the millions of young people that I lead in the NPP. The encouragement I get, even tutorials, support. I learn every day from them. And so far, working in the youth wing has been, I think, a life teaching experience that I'll relish for the rest of my life. Working with young people, the energies, the exuberance, the ideas, the intelligence, everything put together. It's the one that has left me completely enthused and poised, to making history by taking my party, leading the young people, attracting more to our fold, and winning the next elections to form a third term in government. I keep saying this is the most pro-youth party in Ghana, the New Patriotic Party. And it's not by words, deeds and actions. Our policies, everything show how pro-youth we are. And I am happy that at this particular material moment, I am the national youth leader of the party. And I enjoy working with my contemporaries. They give me hope every single day. And that's what keeps me going.
Are you going to lead your youth wing to support any candidate in the national primaries of your party? Is there someone that your youth wing is telling you to support in terms of the flag bearership race?
Unfortunately, the constitutional imperative doesn't allow me as national youth leader to take a definitive position in support of a particular candidate or the other. It's a mass party, and it's going to be a mass election. Close to 200,000 people will be voting in that election. What I've told my youth is that, look, be circumspect in how you campaign for your choice. It's okay to support any of the giants who have risen to contest for the flag bearership position. The Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Vice President, Honorable Alan Chemanting, Kennedy Ajapong, Dr. Kuto Fiye, Joe Gate, Bache Jaku, all these giants who have risen. But I keep saying, let's do it with respect, unity. After that, after the primaries, we will need each other, because regardless of whoever wins, you will need others to come on board to be able to cross the Rubicon. And I'm sure that if we are able to exercise restraint and exercise respect for each other, the unity that we seek after the primaries, we will get it. Because we are not just looking for a flag bearer, we are looking for somebody who will win the election for us. And to do so requires numbers. And that's why the flag bearer, and that's why the flag bearer needs everybody to come on board for us to work together to cross
the
bridge and break the age.
Okay, I thought you had forgotten that it has to be break the age. I thought you were going to say cross.
No, I cannot forget that. That is my foremost mandate.
We wish you
I want to remember as the youth leader who famously broke the age. I want to be remembered for it. I want to be remembered for it. So that anytime you call me,
I know that Pablo,
you call me
Pablo will not agree
the shining
with you.
armor of the New Patriotic Party.
Pablo will not agree with you, but we wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Salam Mustafa. He is the national youth organizer of the New Patriotic Party. The party is currently in a by-election in the Ashanti Region's Kumeu constituency, and voting is over. Sorting is happening at the polling station where he spoke to me from, and counting will be happening later. Let's cross to the NDC to an interested party in the contest. Mustafa Gbandi is a deputy general secretary of the NDC in charge of operations. Mustafa, how are the grounds looking like?
Oh, relatively very peaceful election, and a very, I would say, 70-80% transparent election. EC did their best. But what is most shocking is that MPP engaged in widespread vote buying. Umaru, you cannot imagine how much money this government have come to spend in the exercise of vote buying. And these are not exaggerations. These are issues that we have evidence to, issues that European observers, these are issues that the British High Commission, that is part of the observer team, have all complained and worried about. They've been engaged in vote buying, fiscal vote buying. Go and vote, take a picture, and come for money. But apart from that, I think that generally...
These organizations you mentioned have complained. They complained publicly or privately to you?
Most of them spoke to me in private about what's my observation about these things. And for me, I've had to tell them that...
It means that they will not be willing to go public and say what you have just said they have said.
I do not think so, but I believe that the MPP themselves, we have evidence to all of, we have videos, we have audio recordings of these things that they have done. And it's quite shameful.
And do you have videos of people taking photos of their ballots after voting and being given money?
We have videos of all that I'm talking to you about tomorrow.
And this was taken today?
Just today, from this morning till this time, in as much as the election has been very peaceful, it's been an issue of vote buying.
And your agents at all these polling stations did not raise issue with any of these occurrences? The police, led by the Inspector General of Police, are there. None of them, you've not reported to the IGP or his men on the ground to arrest anyone you saw filming the process?
Primarily, we didn't want to obstruct the process.
It's not an obstruction. You're just bringing the law enforcement agencies in.
We agreed as stakeholders that this election would have to be peaceful. Government has a responsibility not to engage in unethical election practices. They have a responsibility not to engage in that. And so to even get engaged in this shameful act in their own stronghold, which is supposed to be their backyard, what would the police do?
The police would arrest, and they don't care whose ox is God. That's what the IGP said, and that's why they are there. You should have reported to them first of all. If you have not, then it means you are just spreading
in the
rumors.
In the coming days, I'm sure that the party will have a position on this matter. But I'm just telling you
But Mustafa, if you saw someone engaging in an electoral malpractice at a polling station where there are policemen present, the first thing you could have done was to report to them. You don't have to wait till later and then the party will come out with a statement. What you're saying now, if you had reported to the police, then you could say, oh, my evidence is that I saw Kofi take a photo of his ballot after voting. I reported to a police officer, and luckily, because of Dampari, all of them have their names on their chest now. You can say I reported to policeman A or B. But you have not done any of that, and you are speculating now, aren't you?
No, I'm not speculating. The party is yet to take a position on that. But I'm saying
so the party decided when you went to elections today that if you see anybody engaging in any electoral malpractice, you should not report them to the police because it's NPP's was that your position?
What I've said does not suggest that we took a position not to report anybody, but I'm telling you that all that this government got engaged in as far as the MPP and this by-election is concerned have been the activity of widespread and ethical vote buying. That is what has happened here on the ground, the whole morning till now.
But you did not report anybody the whole morning till now.
I'm saying that the time you report a crime is not necessary. When you have your evidence, you can always make a complaint. So I'm saying that
you're obligated.
We have evidence.
No, you're obligated as a citizen to ensure a crime is stopped before it's committed or in the course of the commitment of that crime. If you saw a crime being committed and waited and decided that you complain later, it means you slept on your rights.
That point of law is discretionary. That's what I'm saying, that as far as we have evidence that a certain act has taken place, it becomes a decision that a party will have to take as to whether would make an official complaint to say that that is a criminal act or will not. But I'm just telling you that what transpired in Kumeu today is widespread vote buying by senior government officials of the MPP, the Nanado-led government. That is what they've done so far, the whole morning, buying votes, paying people to vote. That is what they have done. As to whether we have reported or we have not reported is another matter. But what has transpired here is nothing by vote buying. Broad daylight, vote buying, no campaign, they have to cover their shame. Unfortunately, they would have to come and battle with the issue of apathy. After sharing such huge sums of money, there's a huge apathy against the MPP.
Did you also not buy votes as a party?
We don't buy votes. We campaign on issues.
So
we came in good faith.
You didn't give anybody anything, no money, nothing.
Nobody complained about that.
But you
because
did.
we haven't done it. But I'm saying that they've been engaged in nothing but vote buying. They didn't campaign. They had no message. They had no project. They have planted construction equipment thinking that we'll get involved in accidents. They did nothing. What they did here is buying votes, Omaru, nothing more. I've never seen it in my life.
Do you expect to win tonight's election or today's election, or you are just trying to prove a point?
Generally, it is not only about winning. You don't have to engage in an election just to win. You are engaged in election, and for us in Kumeu, it has exposed government. It has exposed that government is unpopular. It has exposed government conspiracy in terms of doing what is unethical electioneering process, what we call vote buying. Number three, we have further demonstrated that the MPP is losing its stronghold called Ashanti region because they have not done nothing. We demonstrated that. And even if we get one vote in appreciation of what we have gotten, it means this government is still weak. And it is clear that there's a huge apathy that is going to come out, which means that government have lost popularity. Apart from sharing the money, apart from all the land cruisers they've used, the president have come, the vice president, the people still refuse to vote. We all know that this is their traditional area. This is a predominant MPP area from 1992. NDC have never won, but we've put a good fight. We've worked. The people are happy with us. And whatever the result is, MPP has still lost in the face of what they ought to generally have gotten.
It appears you are going to be heavy on the total number or the voter turnout. That appears to be what you are interested in. So you're talking already about apathy. Is it your projection that the numbers would be lower than they were in 2020?
One would have expected that with the sums of money I've seen them sharing, their chairmen who do not own businesses, they do nothing, sharing brand new notes, currencies of 50, 100 Ghana cedis and 200 Ghana cedis. Where did they get the money from? Where did they get the money from? So these are the ethical issues that we are going to raise. Apart from that, if you have shared this amount of money in your own stronghold, it demonstrates how weak you are. It demonstrates your lack of popularity straight away.
So it means you don't really, you are not really hopeful that you would win the election based on how you are speaking. You don't think that
you only have to wait. You only have to wait for counting to be over to determine your fate. There's no way anybody will get to know the results of an election until it is counted. But the issues are in the process. And these are some of the issues that are going to come out of this election. That one, government, the Danado-led regime is not popular in their stronghold. Two, it is clear that government haven't done anything here. Three, apart from the activity of being engaged in an unethical vote buying exercise, there is going to be a huge voter apathy. The people have refused to vote. They've refused to come out, to engage, most people to engage in these dirty exercises.
Very well. The Electoral Commission itself, what do you make of its conduct?
We have had few pockets of complaints about the conduct of few election officers, Electoral Commission officials, but generally, and this emphasis is mine because I haven't had reports gathered from all the other places, but I think that generally it is quite an impressive exercise. They've been a bit fair, apart from few challenges. But going forward, we'll sum up the various observations by people who have gone in the various areas and then come to a very, conclusive position as to whether they've been fair or not. But my emphasis is that the election has been generally peaceful, and I think we must credit all political parties for that. But condemning the election if the MPP haven't engaged in a widespread activity of unethical vote buying, sanctioned by government, sanctioned by His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. He knows about it, and this is what has taken place in Kumeu.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Maro.
That's Mustafa Gbande. He's Deputy General Secretary of the NDC in charge of operations, speaking to us from Kumeu, where there's a by-election. There was a by-election today, currently sorting and counting happening. Our man on the ground is Hafiz Tijani. He's been covering the by-election the whole day. He's joined me on the line now. Hafiz, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. What is the wrap of the day from what you have been watching and observing all day?
Well, so voting started at exactly 7 a.m. After Electoral Commission distributed and dispatched its materials and officers who are manning the election to the various polling centers. The Electoral Commission expected over 34,000 of the voters and to vote in 75 polling centers. So voting started. Police also deployed its men to the various centers and intensified patrols within all communities in the constituency. The voting started without any issue until the NDC brought up an issue after it says that it detected some stamped or signed pink sheets by the agents at the Oyoko Methodist polling center. So the Electoral Commission had to come in to resolve that. So the NDC said it was satisfied with the intervention by the Electoral Commission. And later we saw videos emerging and concerns from voters that they were being given some cash and directed to vote for one particular candidate in the election. We put these questions to the leadership of the NDC, but they says that, the MPP, they says that they have not had any of such. But the NDC also, when we asked them about this, they were pointing accusing fingers at the MPP that they were engaging in such. But the MPP says it didn't come across this, and it was also hearing from us the first time. So voting largely, Sanda has been peaceful across the polling centers, and voting has ended now officially, and counting has even ended in some of the polling centers. I'm in the heart of Kumeu, where I have visited some polling centers. I have visited the Anglican GHS polling center at Kumeu, and let me run listeners through briefly the results from these areas or these centers. So the MPP's candidate, Ernest Yao Enim, garnered 170 votes, 170 votes, and the NDC candidate, Kwesi Amankwa, also garnered 21 votes, 21 votes. The first independent candidate, Kokudia, who had the dove symbol on the ballot, polled 101 votes, 101 votes, and the second Kokudia, who had the whole as a symbol on the ballot, polled 2 votes, 02 votes. So the total votes was 294 at that polling center, and the Anglican Primary School, the MPP's candidate, Ernest Yao Enim, polled 202 votes. The NDC's candidate, Kwesi Amankwa, polled 16 votes, 16 votes. And the first independent candidate, Kokudia, polled 117 votes, 117 votes. And the second independent candidate polled 6 votes at that polling center. So these are the results coming in from some of the polling centers. We are visiting other polling centers to get the results, but the results are also done, or the Electoral Commission is also done counting the results, and we are told that the officials of the Electoral Commission are preparing grounds at the collation center and waiting for the other officials to dispatch the results from the other polling centers from the areas to the collation center here at Kumeu, so the collation can be done. So in brief, that is what has happened today at Kumeu as far as the by-election is concerned.
Hafiz, I know it is a very insignificant figure in the statistics, but just repeat for us the results from the two polling stations, because it appears there's a trend we are watching from there, even though it may be a very, very small number out of what, 70 polling stations, or is it 170 polling stations?
So we are talking about 75 polling centers.
Yes, and so far you have two. And so just repeat the numbers there. Let's look at the trend.
Okay, so these are results from the Anglican GHS and Anglican primary. So for the Anglican GHS, the MPP's candidate, NSCL Enim, polled 170 votes, 170 votes. The NDC's candidate, Kwesi Amankwa, polled 21 votes, 21 votes. The independent candidate polled 101 votes. And the second independent candidate also polled 2 votes. And the Anglican primary polling center, the MPP's candidate, the NSCL Enim, also polled 202 votes. The NDC's candidate polled 16 votes. The first independent candidate, Kokudia, polled 117 votes. And the second independent candidate polled 6 votes. So these are the results so far from the two polling centers we have visited, and we are visiting others.
So Hafiz, I think it's been clear from our analysis pre-election that the candidate to look out for really is the independent Kwekudria with the DAV, and not even the NDC candidate. And since he was second in the last elections, there's even a likelihood, or there's a consideration that he may cause an upset. So from what you have just given us from just two polling stations, he's placed second.
Exactly, and that is the anticipation, or that is the talk in the town, that the election or this election centered on the MPP's candidate and the independent candidate Kokubia. And in the heart of Kumeu, some of the supporters of NSCL Enim are already jubilating because NSCL Enim has won in some of the polling centers within Kumeu.
Very well. What about security, the conduct of the policemen on the ground? I have just finished speaking to Mustafa Bandi of the NDC, who said there was open vote buying. People were taking photos of their ballot papers after voting, and that there were even monies being distributed, 50 cities, 100 cities, and so on. And he said that this was happening, it was glaringly being done, and that they have photos and videos of same that they will be taken up later on. I've asked him if they reported anything to the police. He responded in the negative. Did you notice anything like that? Did you see any complaints?
So we spoke to the Member of Parliament for Northton, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who was himself a polling station agent for the NDC at the Sexual Polling Center. He alluded to that fact and says that there were rumors of some vote buying, inducement, voter inducement at the polling center. He was an agent, and he drew the attention of the police to kind of go and then stop those people engaging in the act so they don't disrupt the process. But we have other incidents that have happened at the Oyoko polling station. So some of these incidents, you find these people hiding in apartments and calling out people, getting their people to direct people to where they are to engage in these acts. Most of them were not done publicly as to speak.
Very well. Thank you so much, Hafiz. Please keep an eye on the elections or the counting process and give us feedback as and when you get in.
Thank you, Sanda.
That's Hafiz Tijani is our correspondent in the Ashanti region. The Kumeu by-election is over. It's been peaceful based on the report from the interested parties and our independent reporter who's just spoken to us there. Counting is happening now in various polling stations, 75 polling stations or polling centers for that by-election. I'm sure it will take maybe up to the next hour or so before the proper collation will be done, and then we will know who the victor is. But we are seeing a trend where the NPP candidate appears to be leading in most of the, not most, of all the polling station results that are coming through as we are receiving them here. The independent candidate, Kwekudua, coming second, and the NDC candidate placing third, while the last independent candidate taking the last position. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. Are you in Kumeu? Let me know what you also have seen. Send me a message 0549 986 996.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that.
Yes, so
somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back to Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. Let's do some more stories. The Ghana Cocoa Board has denied reports that it sacked staff serving as enumerators due to some financial challenges. This comes after media reports indicated that contract staff hired as enumerators were sacked abruptly. Cocoa Board, in a statement to clarify the reports, say the contract staff hired as enumerators were issued 6-month contracts, not permanent employment. Cocoa Board further advised the public to disregard the content of the article, which they described as speculative, misleading, and avoidable. Here are excerpts of the statement read by my colleague Anne Shirley Zhu.
Their specific role was the collection of data and registration onto the Cocoa Management System, CMS. In the course of the exercise, some enumerators even had their contracts extended, and some were made to help with the first phase of the onboarding of farmers onto the Cocoa Farmers Pension Scheme, CFPS. The enumeration and the registration of cocoa farmers for the CMS and the onboarding onto the first phase of the CFPS was successfully completed on 15th May 2023. The letter from Cocoa Board to all enumerators was to serve as the official 2-week notice of end of contracts, which is a standard practice and must not be misconstrued. The point must be reiterated that prior to the notice of end of contract, Cocoa Board had informed and explained to the contract staff concerned to make them sufficiently aware of the matter. There was no need, therefore, to stir up a storm out of a teacup. We advise the public to disregard the content of the article, which is not only speculative but also misleading and avoidable.
Those were excerpts of the statement by the Ghana Cocoa Board, read by my colleague Anne Shirley Ziu. Now, the Chief of Staff, Akosua Frema Opariose, has written to Parliament to determine the emolument and end of service benefits for some 134 MMDCEs who served between 2017 and 2021. The MMDCEs who are protesting the non payment of their benefits say they will picket at the premises of the Jubilee House if their demands are not met. Already, the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Dan Butche, has met Parliament over the matter. The former MMDCEs have in a letter pleaded with the President to fast-track the payment of the end-of-service benefits. Here are excerpts of the letter read by City News' Caleb Kuda.
Mr. President, with the greatest respects, we, the immediate past MMDCEs who served your government in your first term, wish to express our concern about the payment of our end-of-service benefits ex gratia. Your Excellency, as MMDCEs who served you faithfully and worked tirelessly to ensure your re-election to continue to govern the country with your pragmatic vision, programs, plans and policies to deliver prosperity and progress for Ghana, have not yet been paid our ex gratia. Very unfortunately, there is no communication to that effect to assure us about the payment. Mr. President, we are aware that we are also part of Article 71 office holders who have long since been paid the end of service benefit ex gratia, excluding the MMDCEs. Your Excellency, we are worried about the situation and respectfully wish to draw your highest attention. Mr. President, it is worthy to note that some of us contested the 2020 general elections as parliamentary candidates, but unfortunately, we lost. We were also not re-nominated to serve this second term with you. Your Excellency, considering our support for the 2020 campaign, as well as those of us who contested and raised funds for our campaign, we humbly call for your highest intervention to enable us receive our end-of-service benefits ex gratia. Mr. President, some of us still harbor the ambition to contest the 2024 general elections as parliamentary candidates to render our full support to the national campaign efforts. Your Excellency, we once again respectfully crave your highest consideration of this concern to enable us survive, care for our families, and also participate vigorously in the 2024 elections to break the 8th-year cycle. Mr. President, we humbly submit our concerns for your highest attention and consideration. We humbly anticipate your fatherly support for our plea.
You heard excerpts of a letter written by the Chief of Staff and read by City News' Caleb Kuda. The Northern Electricity Distribution Company has arrested some 321 people in the Upper East region for power theft. The customers are reported to have tampered with their meters as others had directly connected to the grid without engaging the services of NETCO officers. The arrests were made during the ongoing revenue mobilization by the company. Providing an update on the arrest, the Billing and Revenue Protection Officer at NETCO, William Asari, says 102 persons have paid their fines and have been reconnected.
We have disconnected their power supply. We give you the option to settle the charges because we are really interested in retrieving the power used illegally. So we give you the option to settle the estimated charges. If you settle it and you have business with us, we restore power. If you settle it and you don't have business with us, we take you through our new service procedure. You have to buy an application form and go through the process. So out of the 321, as of today, 23rd May 2023, 102 have paid the amount, the illegal charges given to them, and they have been reconnected. We will follow up with those who have failed to turn up to see whether they have found ways to connect the power back.
William Asari is the Billing and Revenue Protection Officer for Northern Electricity Distribution Company in the Upper East region.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. There's a story that has been running the whole day. It has to do with the Ghana National Petroleum Company. There's a story on the City Newsroom website which says 29 CSOs, that's civil society organizations, want GNPC CEO and Freddie Blay, who is a board chair, removed over Petro SA deal. The story in part says that some 29 civil society organizations are demanding the immediate removal of GNPC's chief executive officer, Opoku Eshwinie Dankwa, and board chairman Freddie Blay. The CSOs, made up of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Imani Center for Policy and Education, and 25 others, accuse the two men of working against the interests of the state. The demand for the removal comes in the wake of GNPC's intention to sell a 50% stake in Jubilee Holdings Limited to Petro SA, despite the substantial revenue potential this interest holds for the state. Addressing the press on Tuesday, the coordinator for the coalition, Abdul Karim Mohammed, said the continuous presence of these individuals closely associated with petroleum operations poses significant risk to Ghana's interests. So the persons who have been named in there, the CEO of GNPC and the board chairman, who is actually joining us on the line now, Freddie Blay. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Moro, thank you very much.
How are you doing, sir?
It's been a long time, Moro.
Do you miss politics? A lot is happening in Kumeu today. You should have been there, thick in the affairs, busily looking for votes.
I should have been there. I should have been there, but I never had the opportunity to talk because I wasn't feeling too good. That's why I wasn't there.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Anyway, you are in the news all over the place, not for good reason. They say you want to sell our assets to somebody in South Africa, that you are not pushing the interests of Ghanaians, to which you are not being patriotic. What is the story?
I say being in the news is always good for politicians. So when you ask me, am I missing politics? I say, of course, I'm still in the news. That's why you are asking me questions, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's right. Yes, indeed, I don't know the text from which you just asked this question, but I've just been informed. I was at a board meeting I just closed, and I was very reluctant in attending to you, but be it as it may, Riafi insisted that I should talk to you briefly. And from what you read, it means about a number of very, very significant and important
CSOs, civil society organizations.
Civil society organizations, which are very respectable. They have all come together, orchestrated, and have asked that the CEO, and including myself, should be asked to step down. Right? We are not our remainder in the industry, our remaining in the industry is detrimental to us. I'm surprised at them. I don't know why they come out like that, or based on which fact. I have not been given the basis for which they are asking this, and unless, of course, I get convinced that
somebody is doing some pure mischief. That's why they are doing it. But please, what is the story?
Okay.
The story that I believe has come out is that a South African company, Petro SA, which happens to be one of the contractors that have interest in some oil field in Ghana, have put up a stake, or they have claimed a stake in some shares that Anadako, who was also a shareholder in the field, trying to dispose of. And Ghana, fortunately, has had the opportunity of having bought the shares. But the people are still insisting that they are entitled to it under the GOA, that is under the joint operation, joint operations of the field, and then based on the petroleum contract that, or the petroleum agreement that is signed with Ghana, that they are also entitled to it. It's a controversy, and we're trying to make sure that there is some kind of agreement on it, and we are trying to broker that kind of agreement. And that is all. We have not reached much.
Okay. So let me just understand. So does it mean Anadako is the organization or company that is doing the business with Petro SA, not necessarily GNPC? Is that the case?
No. Anadako has disposed of it. Had the shares.
So is it the same shares that Anadako disposed of that Petro SA is interested in?
That's right. They said that under the joint operation agreement that they themselves are also entitled to it, and that they should be equally offered. And let them, if they refuse, then of course someone that can, or if they didn't refuse it, they could share out of it. And that's what they are claiming.
And when you say they, do you mean Petro SA? So they are saying that they should be given the first right of refusal.
That's right. That's what they're saying.
Okay. This request has come to
This is wrong. This is one I'm not concluding. And I'm saying that could lead to a litigation. Either we say that they are entitled to it, which they will say they will take it all, about 7% that we are talking of, or we could share it. And I wrote a letter saying that if they don't mind, we could come to an agreement, and they would take 50%, we would take 50%. But that is subject to the consent and approval of the Minister of Energy. I wrote that letter to them because we've been very friendly to each other over time, while with this 2 years, because they started in 2021 and they are not giving up. And we have thought that maybe we could persuade them to do so, but they haven't done it, and they still insist on it. And it could easily lead to some long-standing litigation. So we proposed it to them. I personally wrote it and proposed it to them, to their chairman.
And you're offering them 50%.
50% or 7%.
Okay, 50% of the 7%. What were they asking for? Were they asking for a higher?
Either they take it all.
Oh, so they wanted the full 7%, and you are proposing that no, we divide that into two. We take 3.5, you take 3.5.
But honestly, the minister had already asked me that, please stop, don't do it. No.
Was that before you wrote your letter or after you wrote your letter that the minister told you this?
I had before you wrote your letter, 6 or 7 months ago, it's asked that we shouldn't negotiate on that. But it was after 7 months, the people are still coming to us. And therefore, that's why I proposed that we could do that. But it's subject to the consent and agreement of the minister.
And that's actually what has angered the CSOs, because part of their statement, they said that they have information that the Minister of Energy, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has objected to this transaction, but the chairman of GNPC board, that's you, is pushing this transaction to the extent that the Minister of Energy had written to the Jubilee House over this transaction. It appears that you did not respect your minister then.
No, that is not the issue. I'm saying that it was not a question of disrespect. I did that conscious of my fiduciary responsibility as a chairman and as a board. That's what I did. decided on that. And I made it clear that it is subject to his approval. But when you say that don't engage them at all, it becomes a bit difficult for an autonomous body like the GNPC, which is a corporation. For you to say don't even engage them at all, it's quite difficult. That's what I did, and he was so happy about. I appreciate that pretty well.
I see. So your letter is not binding legally whatsoever you say?
At all.
So it should not be interpreted to mean that you have signed off 50%
I have
of
not
our...
signed anything, my brother. Anybody who says that is the other doesn't understand what is happening or playing pure business. That's all.
So what's the way forward now? The way forward is that the company would have to go to the minister for possible approval or rejection. You have washed your hands off it. Is that what it means?
Absolutely. That's what it means. That is all it means. That we wash our hands of it. The minister will decide to either approve of it or disapprove of it. But even then, my board members, we met today, they said that, well, let's wash our hands of it now. Totally, let the minister decide on what he thinks is right. And then we get along with that. That's what has happened.
But then again, you've just mentioned that you are an autonomous body. If you are washing your hands off, then it means you are washing, you're checking your responsibility.
We are checking our responsibility, but I, as an individual, can carry along the whole board. So we decided today that it's either that way or let the minister do what.
You sound like you're not happy with the minister's intervention. Your board is not happy.
But you don't have to be happy or sad about it. So,
do you think that the minister is usurping your powers as a company?
Well, I wouldn't go to that extent. The minister feels very strongly about it, and I respect his views and I respect his position. After all, he's the sector minister. He decides policy.
But Honorable, if the sector minister says don't do A and you go ahead to do it, your position may be untenable, don't you think?
It appears that that may be the position at the moment. That he says, but I did say that no, it is not that we are saying you will go ahead and as it were, decide to sell off or to give up 50% of the shares. What I decided on is that subject to his approval or disapproval. That's all.
Yes, but if he had already, prior to your letter, said do not do it, and you still wrote and made such an offer, then it appears there's a rift. Is there a power play issue between you and the ministry?
It is not a power play. I think you are misunderstanding me. What I'm saying is that earlier on, it's about 7 months that the letter came out. And then I decided that let's at least engage them. And then if we do engage them and try to persuade the minister and he doesn't agree to that, then of course we wash our hands off.
There's a company called Litasco in the mix. What do you know about that?
Not too much about it, I must be honest with you. Not too much about Litasco, except that we dealt with them in the past and they have been they helped us to pay for some debts that we have and continue to extend to us some loans for us to continue having enough fuel for Ghana electricity. You know? So on our back, we borrowed money from them and then they've used what our bank balance as a guarantee for them to continue supplying electricity to the independent power producers in the country.
Okay, I'm asking this because I've seen a letter that the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Energy wrote to you in relation to this stick and talking about a number of other issues. This letter was dated 16th May 2023. That's just a week or so ago. And it has to do with the position on the the earlier letter that the minister sent to you on 28th October, which is talking about a conversation that he has had with the Minister for Natural Resources from South Africa, and the instruction to you that you should cease any further negotiation with Petro SA on matters of Petro SA's intended preemption. The last question I would have is that someone is interested in knowing who made the first offer in this matter.
Honestly, they wanted to say that they will have, after talk, they said that they would like to, what is it? We've been having meetings, and they said that if they want to be nice to us, we should take 25%, and they would take 75% of the 7% of. And I said, no, that's not fair. They should rather take 50% and let us have 50% too. That's why it's been back and forth. It's either they take all or they take a larger proportion of the total total number of shares.
So for you, this 50-50 offer is in the best interest of Ghana.
It is in the best interest of Ghana. Rather, we stand the risk of losing all and gaining nothing out of it.
The issue of patriotism would come up when these conversations happen. So the conversation would be that you are giving off our interest when the Minister of Energy is trying to protect that same interest. And
some people may not understand it. They would think that it's as simple as that, but it involves some legality. It involves some law. The petroleum agreement that they entered into, the joint operation agreement, all these things are relevant. And then the South Africans will not make a demand based on nothing. They also have made it. They've contacted their lawyers and they insist on it. Over these 2 years, they have been insisting on it. So please, it's not as simple as that. So that's why I'm saying that I wish it's not been a subject for football in the public, but it should be among business interests, to be about investors and those who own the natural resource. But how people have decided to talk about it a lot in the media as well, that's why you're asking me a few questions. I'm not going fully out to tell you more about it, but it's not as simple as that.
But the resignation will not happen.
That they say I should resign.
Yeah, they say you should leave or you should be fired.
Well, I myself, if I'm fired, I'm not the one who appointed myself. Possible I could be fired, but I don't see the reason why people ask me over this issue. I've done nothing wrong. I've examined my conscience. I thought I was protecting the interest of the nation. I'm convinced about that in good faith. And if I just think otherwise, and those who appointed me, the powers that be appointed me, say that you should leave. So be it, my brother.
Has the president spoken to you about this since the issue came up?
Yes, spoken to me about it. Yes.
Did he ask for clarification or he asked you to give him back his job?
We haven't got to that extent yet.
Do you see that coming?
I don't see it.
Or do you think you've convinced the president with your explanation?
It's not a question of convincing the president. The facts will speak for themselves. The law will talk. And they've asked for a few documents about it. And we're definitely doing that. Mr. President will maybe invite the minister and invite me as well, and then point out where the few mistakes have gone on and where we should have been agreeable and then where we should have, come together. And or if we disagree, then of course, minister's position will prevail. That's all.
Just to be on a safe and a sure side, because it's on national radio, the two of you are public officers. Do Ghanaians have your word that you and your minister are in good terms and that there's no petty squabble or quibbling happening at the energy sector of Ghana?
Umaru Sanders, I don't think we have any differences that are so serious that it's detrimental to the interest of Ghana.
Thank you.
Napo has strong opinion, and I'm also a little, a little determined when I'm talking about anything that I know of. But the two of us, today we met. Today we were at the board meeting itself. We exchanged ideas nicely.
Did you wish him happy birthday?
We all wish him happy birthday. I didn't know until when you came to that. I think we could sort out any differences, but okay, it's not.
Please do. You are a senior member of the.
Thank you, Morris. Thank you for advice.
Wish you all the best, Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That's former chairman of the New Patriotic Party, who is board chair of the Ghana National Petroleum Company (GNPC), Freddie Wasme, former MP for Elembele, former plenty things. But let's leave it there for now. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. We'll return with more. Please stay.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. Let's settle for the details now. The Bank of Ghana has reiterated that it stands ready to provide emergency liquidity support for banks in the country in line with their rules for liquidity assistance. According to the central bank, though no bank in the country has applied for liquidity support from the central bank recently, it has put in place measures to ensure the banking sector remains solvent and strong to support economic growth. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, disclosed this at yesterday's Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Accra.
We have not had any bank ask for liquidity assistance, as I said, partly because of the regulatory reliefs that we gave them. Remember, we reduced the reserve requirements as part of this DDEP exchange. But I always make the point that should any bank need liquidity, the Bank of Ghana would stand ready to provide the resources in line with rules for liquidity assistance.
Dr. Ernest Addison is the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Meanwhile, an economist, Professor Godfrey Bobkin, is calling on government to fast-track its plans targeted at reviving the financial sector. The Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Ghana, together with the IMF, are formulating a robust strategy to cushion the country's financial sector to offset the shocks of the domestic debt exchange program. Speaking to City Business News, Professor Bobkin said these policies must be strictly implemented.
This is slightly different from the 16th IMF-supported program, where the vulnerabilities in the financial sector were identified. They were not adequately catered for under the program, and therefore the financial sector cleanup that we saw from 2017, the deficit arising from that had to be treated as an outlier. But this time round, the IMF has also learned from the lessons of the 16th IMF-supported program. Ideally, the idea of external support, either from the central bank or through the Financial Sector Stability Fund, is always not the ideal way to go. But under the circumstance, we will welcome that. But the earlier we operationalize that, the better. So, in as much as we are trying to repair the public sector balance sheet, we can see that that has taken a toll on the balance sheet of financial institutions and households. The question is, how quickly will this intervention be operationalized so that banks can do proper banking, can do proper intermediation, so that they will be able to support the overall economic strategy.
Professor Godfrey Bobkin is an economist. Government will be under pressure to cut down its expenditure following the approval of the country's $3 billion deal with the International Monetary Fund. It is the expectation of the fund that government, under its structural obligations, rolls out a raft of measures aimed at ensuring that a distressed economy is put on track of recovery during the period of the 3-year extended credit facility. Speaking on City TV's Point of View, the IMF representative in Ghana, Dr. Leandro Medina, said the government must prioritize fiscal adjustments to ensure it meets the performance criteria for the disbursement of other loan tranches.
So there are two things, right? That you are talking about structural transformation, but you are also talking about the fiscal. Yeah. So let me put it in two different buckets. Yeah. On the fiscal, there is quite a sizable adjustment in the 2023 budget and what we expect in the duration of the program. And then on structural transformation, that also has to do with reforms and measures that you take to improve the business climate, to promote the private sector. So in that sense, there are a lot of reforms within the context of the program that look at, what you can do in the context of these 3 years to basically, have strong foundations for a higher and long-lasting growth, which is what, the effect of this structural transformation, correct?
Dr. Leandro Medina is the IMF representative in Ghana. Minister of State of the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, is urging African leaders to leverage on the network of resources provided by the Afrexim Bank to strengthen its regional trade. According to the minister, the low trade volumes within the sub-region could witness a transformation if efforts are made in accelerating access to market information. Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam made these comments at the media launch of the 30th AGM of the Afrexim Bank in Accra.
Most African economies are smarting under the severe impact of 3 key overlapping global shocks, which have triggered macroeconomic instability, tightening financial conditions, and food insecurity. Amidst all this, we also know that the role of global and regional trade in promoting economic dynamism and transformation is beyond question. The experiences of all other regions of the world bear ample testimony to this fact. Yet today, Africa's share of global trade is just about 3%, and intra-Africa trade is only 16%. Amongst the key reasons for this uninspiring trade performance is the lack of finance and access to trade and market information. It is in this respect that all Africans must be supportive of the Afrexim Bank, a bank that is set up to deliver just that and more. In the Afrexim Bank, we have an institution with convening power and a network of resources to significantly contribute towards finding robust solutions to these challenges.
That was the Minister of State of the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. And finally, the President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Sena Dake, has indicated the need for the public sector to strengthen the implementation of the public financial management in its business transactions. This, she explains, will safeguard the public purse and ensure investor confidence. Sena Dake made these comments at the launch of the National Public Financial Management Forum.
And this effort is actually to accelerate national development and to enhance the transformations that are taking place in our public financial management space. And Ghana has been a very peaceful country, and there's been quite a number of investments in public sector. The financial management is the core or the heart of all the finances, because when resources are well managed and stewardship is assured and accountability and transparency is assured, then the confidence of our investors and the public is very high. Because of that, engaging in discussions that would enhance this financial management system is very important.
That was the President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana, Sena Dake. And that's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. It was powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nettie Ajahu. Up next, it's Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Actually, guys, So Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Mr. Mane, sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Insightful, intriguing, intelligent, and informative. The City Breakfast Show offers an attractive alternative to the noisy mishmash of morning radio. Tune in to the City Breakfast Show for passionate discussions on issues that matter and enjoy interviews where duty bearers and decision makers have their feet held to the fire. The City Breakfast Show airs from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Monday to Friday on 97.3 City FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
About those allowances, the labor law says since bargaining certificate is for the organized labor, he has to come back to the drawing board for renegotiation or reversal. Until then, you cannot unilaterally and illegally cancel those allowances.
Therefore, Adam must go.
Yes. In conclusion, we are asking that the fair wages and that for matter appointing authority to help him reverse the decision. We want a united, peaceful, industrial atmosphere in GBC. And failure to that, we will use all legal means, including strike. The rest is a strategy we will not communicate. We are by this notice serving the appointing authority and our management that if we receive May salary and these are not reflected, GBC workers will do the needful.
The voice of Samuel Nat Kevo is the divisional union chairman of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Now, the story is that the union wants the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to rescind a decision to withdraw some allowances of staff. They told the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission notified the Controller and Accountant General's Department about some discrepancies in the payment of allowances to some staff of the state broadcaster. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission apparently had said that the workers were not entitled to some of these allowances. Let's speak to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Elankra is with the commission. You're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, and to complete it, a former son of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation.
Yes, I forgot to add that. A retired broadcaster from GBC who has gone to, and be sure that people's salaries are not tampered with. Who, according to the workers now, is helping tamper with their salary. Why?
No, thanks for the opportunity. This exercise was not meant to tamper with the salaries of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. And indeed, we recently concluded negotiations with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation on some allowances that are specific to GBC, some non-core allowances that are specific to GBC, 4 of them. And so effective the end of this month, all GBC workers will be benefiting from a radiation allowance and 3 other allowances which will benefit some staff members of GBC, but on the whole, 4 allowances. And if you look into it cumulatively, it could go up as high up as to 80% the increment in the current allowances they are enjoying. And because we are going to be, indeed, it is effective February this year. But since we are going to start paying at the end of this month, there will be the payment of arrears from February to staff of GBC.
What are the allowances, first of all?
Okay, there is radiation allowance, there is hardship allowance, there is risk allowance, and there is unsociable allowance, which is something that benefits GBC staff.
And these are new allowances?
Yeah, these are some old allowances that were renegotiated. So you negotiate for a higher appraisal of the allowances. So most staff were enjoying this, and we sat down with GBC to negotiate an upward adjustment of the salary of the allowances.
So what's the commission's position, that they are not deserving of this allowance, or the raise is too high?
No. The ones we just negotiated, those who are entitled to them will get them, and they will start enjoying them the end of this month. But as part of the exercise, once you complete a negotiation, you have to look through the general payroll of the organization. This is not just peculiar to GBC. This is what we do with all employees that we conclude negotiations with. We want to make sure that no ghost names or no other persons who are not deserving of these income allowances are in there. And mind you, we've also started a nationwide payroll exercise. So Fair Wages and Salaries Commission took the opportunity to look through the entire payroll to find out if there will be any ghost names, or if there are some people who are deserving of some allowances and yet are not being paid. Since we started the exercise, we've gone through some institutions, and we get complaints that I'm entitled to this allowance, yet I'm not benefiting from it. So it's a general correctional operation. And then in that process, you will also find out that there are ghost names, or there are some people who are earning some allowances that they are not entitled to. So that was how we discovered that there were some, not all workers of GBC. There were some staff of GBC who were earning some undeserved allowances. And that was how Fair Wages came in to advise that those people are taken off whilst they get to enjoy the actual salaries that they are entitled to.
So it's not like you have come in and taken away their allowances. You are just saying that those who don't deserve it should not be given same.
It should not be given. That's all.
Okay, so who are some of the people who did not qualify for which allowances? Do you have a group that you can share?
Yeah, okay, there were a lot of allowances, and most of these allowances are Category 4 allowances. Category 4 allowances are allowances supposed to be enjoyed by directors and above. A director, a chief executive, or a deputy chief executive that line. But then Fair Wages discovered that there were some employees who were below these ranks that were enjoying Category 4 allowances. And it was not, it did not cut across. You could see that selectively some were enjoying these allowances, while some were not enjoying. So there was a little problem with that. And when we checked, we realized that no, these people were not deserving of those allowances. That was why Fair Wages advised controller to correct those issues.
About how many people have you given to the list that you've given to the controller not to pay them these allowances that are not deserving of them?
Okay, maybe it will go up above 500. 500 people enjoying some allowances here and there. Not, it doesn't cut across, but it is selectively some. I mentioned some of these allowances that were being enjoyed, if I could get a second. So some staff were enjoying rent allowance. Some were enjoying domestic servant cook allowance. You will find out that domestic servant cook allowance is something that goes to chief executives or deputy chief executives or some directors. Then domestic servant watchman allowance. I mean, these are some allowances that these allowances are Category 4 allowances. They are not supposed to go anywhere below directorship. Yet there were some workers who were far below these ranks that were enjoying the allowances. There is the housing allowance, entertainment allowance. Entertainment allowance, normally, for directors of institutions, sometimes you receive guests whom you may have to give water, you may have to refresh in one way or the other. So these allowances come in to ensure that you don't use your own salary to refresh your guests that come around. So these allowances have been planned and they've been negotiated at the Public Services Joint Negotiation level, and the definition of these allowances were made clear, and there are amounts that must be paid for these allowances were all negotiated at the PGS and NC level. So for them to be paid to those below that, we are not saying it is fictitious. The exercise wasn't a witch hunt exercise. It could be in error, but in one way or the other, they were being enjoyed by
the wrong person. So you said about 500 people. What percentage of the total staff of GBC would that be?
Upward of 500. So not just 500, above.
Yes. So that would be what percentage would that be? What's the total number of GBC staff? Do you have a rough estimate?
I wouldn't have the exact figure. I don't have the exact figure on me right now. But the point is, it does not cut across all staff. It is not. It's a minority.
So now that the union wants you to reverse that decision of yours, are you going to stick to your guns or you're going to listen to them?
Oh, well, Fair Wages has started engagement. This morning, the chief executive of Fair Wages, in fact, yesterday, the Director General of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation came to Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and he met with the chief executive of the commission. This morning, they met again at the office of the Honorable Opon Nkrumah to look into the issues. As I speak this evening, there is a meeting at Fair Wages and Salaries Commission between Fair Wages and the management of GDC. So they are looking at it from various grounds, and definitely there will be a resolution.
Well, you were really enjoying all these allowances and you still ran away from GBC. Anyway, let's leave it there.
No, I wouldn't say I was enjoying.
I like the radiation and watchman allowance.
Well, those allowances, like I said, were not meant. So I as a GBC, I wasn't a director yet, so I wasn't enjoying housing, entertainment, utility, and all that.
And watchman.
And watchman, definitely not. There was vehicle maintenance allowance. The vehicle maintenance allowance are supposed to be for people who own vehicles that they are using to come to work. And you have to check to ensure that this vehicle belongs to Umaru. This vehicle is registered in his name. He has a roadworthy insurance on it. He has actually a roadworthy certificate on it, and he's got it insured as well. You want to make sure that he's actually coming to work with it and not parked, or maybe his spouse is using it elsewhere whilst he's enjoying the allowance. So there are processes that have to be ensured.
Right now, leave it. Let's leave it here. Enticing me to go to the public service. Let's leave it here.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you too.
We'll discuss and it will be resolved.
Thank you so much. That's Elankra. He speaks for the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And that's how we end tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandamado. I did this with Eno Safo. Production by Beverly London, Kobna Wilson, and Sami Wiafi. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. And new media support from Edwin Kwako. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Good night.